Namaste, good evening. Welcome to another episode of Turiya Talks. Today we'll talk about something very interesting and we'll try to understand what whiskey is, what are the types of whiskey, and how to have it. So we'll talk about taking your whiskey knowledge to the next level with Mr. Uday Balaji. Welcome to Turiya Talks, sir.
Thank you so much, Sandhya. It's an absolute pleasure to be here.
So to talk about our guest, sir is the whiskey program, whiskey ambassador program in India. We call it, he's the trainer. And he is the first and only executive bourbon steward in India. So we'll talk about a couple of things. We'll talk about his journey as a licensed partner with the Whiskey Ambassador Limited, and then, of course, what he did with his own startup. So, welcome to Turiya Talks once again, sir. And I wanted to start this session with what whiskey is all about and your journey.
Oh, that's two fairly large questions. So, let me just quickly run through my journey. I'll try to be brief. But I am an engineer by training, and I started off in software. So, in the early 2000s, no matter what you were doing, you kind of ended up in software. Right? So, I was in India for a few years, and then I was in the States for a few years. Traveled around and lived in different cities as well, which was again a lot of exposure as far as whiskey went. And then after a few years in software, I moved to Europe, where I went to business school and traveled extensively as well. And again, got a lot more exposure to not just whiskey, but living in Spain, there's a lot of wine and other spirits as well. That came in, and being in business school, a lot of hobnobbing with fine alcoholic beverages. And then when I came back to India, decided to switch to hospitality. So I ran resorts and restaurants for a few years before I finally decided, okay, I'm going to work on a couple of my passions. One is whiskey and one is travel. And the Whiskey Advisor was established end of 2017, early of 2018. So that's still what I'm doing now, and spreading the good word of whiskey.
Would you talk about your travel to few continents, to countries, some interesting case studies or the workshops you organize?
Yeah, again, it's a couple of questions. So I'll just quickly talk about where my travels have taken me. So the major countries for whiskey are obviously Scotland, Ireland, the US, Canada, and Japan. I can say that I've traveled extensively in all of them except for Canada. So that's definitely on the cards. But yeah, I mean, extensively traveling in terms of visiting distilleries, meeting the people who make the whiskeys, visiting a lot of bars, which is a fun part of the job for sure. Tasting, at the end of the day, my line of work, it's all about understanding how the whiskey is made, where those flavor profiles come from, and kind of what the brand, what the people who make the whiskey stand for, and what are they trying to achieve. And whiskey has been made for hundreds of years, so there are always great stories to tell.
Sir, I wanted to understand something from you because I think you'll be the best person to talk about it. People, those who don't drink at all, they don't understand. So, what are the different types of whiskeys around the world, and does every variety it has a uniqueness in itself?
That's a good question. See, the thing is, one thing that you got to remember, right? So I just spoke briefly about being in Spain and having wine and other spirits and beer for that matter. So any alcoholic beverage is a function of the region. So if you go back in history, how did alcoholic beverages come to be? Whatever a farmer was growing in a particular region, they ended up fermenting or distilling it so that the crops wouldn't spoil, right? And then it's easier to transport. It's not like now where you have autobahns and high-speed highways and transport systems. These are all small farmers who are making their little hooch in various parts of the world, be it Scotland or Ireland or Germany or whatever. So that's why if you see, for example, in France, very conducive environment for grapes. So that's why you see wine and brandy. You won't go to Scotland with their weather and see rolling vineyards, right? So that's why whiskey comes from there, because whiskey is made from grains like barley and wheat and rye. Or if you go to the US, corn is abundant, so you find bourbon, right? So just to kind of like put that, kind of wrap it together. So, and I already mentioned the major countries, right? So Scotland and Ireland primarily make whiskey from barley, which is their malt whiskey, and they also make some grain whiskey with other grains like wheat and maize, etc. So they have a certain profile, right? Whereas you go to the US, you've got more corn-based whiskeys like bourbon, or if you've had Jim Beam or Jack Daniels, any of those have more corn and rye. So they tend to be sweeter and spicier than what you get in Scotland and Ireland. And now there are close to 90 countries that make whiskey. So there's quite a lot of variation in terms of grains. And like I said, whiskey making philosophies across the world. So I encourage people to both try, different whiskeys from different countries, as well as different styles of whiskey from each country.
So, of course, we'll talk about a couple of things, but we have to know few things from you, like which one is your favorite among the whiskeys and how to have it. I think the style.
So I'm always trying to avoid this question about what is my favorite whiskey, right? Because after having had hundreds and actually thousands of whiskeys, it's very, I'd have to get very technical, so I'm not getting into that. What would be my ideal whiskey? But I think whiskey is a very mood thing, what's the weather like? What time of day is it? Where are you? Who are you with? Depending on your mood, a whiskey could taste different, right? So for me, I generally pick whiskeys based on that particular moment, right? So it's very hard to pick one, and it would be unfair to pick one. How do you drink whiskey? That's a tricky one, right? Because there's how to taste whiskey is a very systematic, you have a certain type of glass, there are certain steps. Do you put a little drop of water in it and all that? So that is tasting whiskey. Let's set that aside for now. Historically, whiskey has been kind of like, your father's drink, grandfather's drink, a little bit of an old man. It's kind of the male bastion, right? But that's changing. More younger people are drinking. A lot more ladies are drinking, and it's a very wide way that people are drinking it as well. So for the longest time, I said if you're drinking a single malt, you should only drink it neat. At the end of the day, it's your whiskey. You drink it how you want, right? If you want to put your single malt in a cocktail, well, you go for it. That's what you enjoy. The only thing, and there shouldn't be that snobbery in whiskey. I think there's no place for snobbery at all. So yeah, so the only thing that I tell people is try to elevate your drink. So for example, I'll give you an example, right? So let's say if you're making a dish, and like something to eat, and you have really, really fine vegetables, organically grown, packed with flavor, and you cook with that, and you use the right ingredients, you don't overshadow those ingredients, you have a wonderful dish at the end. If you use a not so great produce, your dish is not going to be great. So if you have the skill to make a cocktail, even a simple cocktail like a highball, with a fine single malt, and you can elevate it, by all means do it. Yeah, so drink it the way you want. Forget about the snobbery. Don't bother about what other people say. Drink it the way you want.
Right, sir. Sir, you were a whiskey educator and an evangelist. This is a very, very pertinent question. How do you see the future of this industry to be in India? And how is it going at present?
Well, see, it's an interesting question, right? Because interestingly enough, by volume, India consumes 50% of the world's whiskies, right? But
Seriously.
we do. I think 7 or 8 of the top 10 selling brands by volume from India. Now, it's a little bit controversial in the sense that how India defines whiskey is different from how the West defines it. There are certain economic realities in the country as well. I'm not going to get into that, because that gets a little technical.
Right,
Um,
sir.
but I'm very happy to say that over the past year, over the past few decades, and particularly in the last decade, the premiumization of all alcoholic categories. It's a little bit of a catchword known as premiumization, but it actually applies because people are earning more. They are more exposed to knowledge, whether it be through traveling or whether it's social media or whatever it is. And it's just like everything else, right? So people want to know where their clothes are coming from, where their watch is coming from, where the soaps are coming from, for that matter, right? So just like that, people are more interested in what they're drinking, be it a whiskey or a wine or whatever it is, any alcoholic beverage. Now, so people are becoming more discerning. They're able to spend more, and also, the people are looking for experiences over just getting drunk. So there's definitely that upward movement, and more people are buying better, drinking more responsibly. And I think that's only going to improve. So if you look at it from a brand standpoint, let's say foreign whiskies, right? So when we were growing up, my first impressions of whiskey were my grandfather drinking Glenfiddich 12, right? Talking about like 30 years ago. Um, Now, when we were growing up, a Glenfiddich 12 was not something that you'd find easily in the market, right? It was somebody is traveling abroad, pick it up at duty free and come, something like that. But the most common, really high end stuff was like Black Label and Chivas. If you've been to a party, still they still quite high. But now we see a flood of single malts in the country. So, Scotch, there are Irish whiskies now, there's French whiskies. There's a whole more variety coming into the market because the international producers have seen that there's an appetite in the Indian market for it. And it's only going to improve. Every day there's some new brand. Every other day there's some new brand coming into the country, and it's very, very exciting. And I have to say, you also asked me about which whiskies I enjoy. So I have to also say, I'm a big ambassador for quality Indian single malts. So the work that brands like Amrut, Paul John, and Rampur have done over the years to put Indian single malts on the map is exemplary. And I keep telling people, see, people abroad are really appreciating these brands. We're sitting here in India. We need to, I'm not saying go and buy only that, right? Give them a chance. Buy a bottle of Amrut, buy a bottle of Paul John, buy a bottle of Rampur and try it. And you will be surprised if you have not had it before because they're fantastic quality.
Right, sir. So we are talking about taking your whiskey knowledge to the next level with Uday Balaji. Now we will talk something about what are the present work areas which we can look at in this industry, and maybe the next generation or the current generation who want to get into this. So just wanted to understand from all the aspects.
I think from a food and beverage standpoint, not specifically whiskey, there's tremendous opportunity, because hospitality industry is, I mean, leave COVID aside for a minute, right? But overall, hospitality is booming. And cocktail culture is exploding in the metros, and it's starting to trickle down to the tier 2 cities as well. So I think there's tremendous opportunity there, and if you're looking at something brand specific, there's possibility to work in distilleries. The opportunities are a little limited, but will keep increasing. Because distilleries are big investments, and there are only so many people doing that. And another option is brand advocacy. So there's a lot of people who have studied distilling and then gone into like brand ambassadorial positions. Similarly, bartenders have moved from the bar to brand advocacy. So there's a lot of options, hospitality is definitely has the most positions. So if you want to get into whiskey, if somebody wants to get into whiskey, I would say pursue hospitality, get behind the bar, and still see if you're interested, because it looks very glamorous from the outside. You really need to be passionate about it to really excel. And if you get behind the bar and you really enjoy it, you really enjoy whiskey, take it up. I mean, there's only thing that can stop you is yourself. If you have the passion for it, you'll go places.
Right. Sir, your final few tips to the people who want to increase their knowledge in whiskey tasting and training.
Well, I'd say these days there's a lot of information out there, right? I mean, even I need to get more active again with this, but my podcast and my YouTube, not just mine, right? Look for other stuff also. But so I've been putting out knowledge in terms of what are the fundamentals of whiskey, what is the story behind some of these brands, Instagram, Facebook. So there's a whole lot of informative resources out there. Read magazines, listen to podcasts, and taste whiskey. I mean, so whiskey is an expensive proposition, right? I mean, quality whiskey is an expensive proposition. Not many people can afford to buy a 5,000 to 10,000 rupee bottle every week. So what I would recommend is do a bottle share. Buy a bottle, split the cost with friends, so you get to taste that much more. Or you cannot learn about whiskey tasting notes by reading them, right? You've got to experience them. And if you're talking about sensory, how do people improve? So, for example, sometimes when I do tasting, so I'm going on and on about, this tastes like, this is like honey and grapefruit, and people are looking at me and they're like, all that I can smell is whiskey, right? But it's all about practice. So all of us have aroma repertoire or aroma library that we've been building since the day we've been born. So if you want to improve it, just keep going around smelling stuff. Give yourself new experiences: coffee, tea, flowers, vegetables, any aromas around. India is a country filled with aromas. Just go seek them out and start looking for them in, the whiskeys and the wines and everything that you drink.
Fine. So I'm sure after watching this show, people would understand that too much of anything is bad, but too much of good whiskey is barely enough. So you're taking your whiskey knowledge to the next level with Uday Balaji. Do watch it. But before that, I would like to ask, sir, what is your opinion about Turiya Talks?
I think as a concept, it's great because it's a nice, concise format for someone to follow and learn about various industries. And they might come across something that they haven't heard about before, get inspired, perhaps follow that line of work, or just learn something new for the day that they can go and chat about with their friends, perhaps over a glass of whiskey.
Thank you. So on that point, we'll bring this interesting and insightful session to a close. I'm sure sir would help people in their whiskey key journey. They'll get the key from sir because he has got some more than 30 years experience in this, and it was really interesting to know what whiskey is and what are the types and what is there for India as a country to offer to people. And of course, you suggested few brands. So I hope our viewers collected important information from this session. So with that note, namaste. Thank you. We'll meet soon.
Thank you so much for having me.